Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Mushafika Wahida binti Wahab. My metric number is H21A2536. Today, the purpose of this video is about book review assignment, so let's start with the introduction. The title of the book is a Peter Pan Barnes and Noble classic series. It is written by J.M. Barrie. The type of fiction of this book is a fantasy. The number of pages is 208. The year of publication is 2005. The reason why I chose this book are because I love fantasy storybook. It can make me think further and imagine with other works. For a children, it remains a marvelous mix of fantasy and adventure, featuring unique, imaginative characters who phrase and frolic in enchanting land. Besides, me and my partner chose this book is because the cover of the book. As you can see, the cover of the book has a little boy and a little fairy, and it makes our curious about the contents of the main character. The main character is a Peter Pan. Peter Pan is a young boy who lives on the island of Neverland, a free spirit and mischievous young boy who can fly and never grows up. Peter Pan spent his never-ending childhood having adventures on mythical island of Neverland. Wendy Darling. Wendy is an English girl living in London during the Edwardian era. While her age isn't specified, she is usually portrayed as a preteen on the brink of adolescence. John and Michael Darling. They are Wendy's siblings. Tinkerbell, a pixie who is Peter's best friend and sidekick. Captain Hook is a Peter Pan enemy. Summary. Neverland is home to Peter Pan, a young boy who has never grown up. On one of his visits to London, Peter makes the acquaintance of young Wendy Darling, whom he invites to travel with him to Neverland and become the mother of his gang of lost boys. Flying through the night sky to Neverland, Wendy and her brothers John and Michael are soon caught up in marvelous adventures with the Indian princess Tiger Lily, the loyal fairy Tinkerbell, and Peter Nemesis, a sinister hook-handed pirate known as Captain Hook.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Noor Anisfarna binti Tamizi. My matrix number is H21B20368 and I'm as partner B's presenter and I would like to do a book review of Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. So I hope you like it and let's get started. So firstly, the main theme of the story in Peter Pan is imagination. The main theme of imagination in the story is, for example, one night, Peter asked the children to come with him to the Neverland, and then Wendy was delighted on hearing this. Peter even taught them on how to fly. All it took was wish and a pinch of pixie dust and a little practice too. And then they out of the nursery and flew away to the Neverland. So next, I'm going to describe briefly on how the main character's personality has changed because of his or her experiences in the story. Firstly, I'm going to talk about Peter Pan, who is incredibly adventurous and daring. Why I say this? This is because his favorite activities include battling pirates, engaging in friendly wars with the Indians, and listening to Wendy's stories of his adventures. Also, being a young boy, Peter can be rather impractical and conceited at times, but when it comes to rescue his friends, he is far more mature than any adult can be. He is also respected and loved by nearly every inhabitant of Neverland, with the exception of Captain Hook and his crew, who despises Peter for cutting off his left hand and feeding it to Tik-Tok the crocodile during their first battle. Next, I'm going to describe briefly on how the main character's Wendy Darling's personality has changed because of her experiences in the story. Wendy, who is proud of her own childhood and enjoys telling stories and fantasizing. This is because she has a distaste for adulthood, which is acquired partly by the example of it set by her father, whom she loves dearly but fears due to his somewhat violent fits of anger. Also, her ambition early in the story is to somehow avoid her from growing up, but when she follows Peter Pan to Neverland, Wendy finds that this experience brings out her more adult side. And then Peter and the tribe of lost boys who dwell in Neverland want her to be their mother, a request she tentatively accedes to performing various domestic tasks for them. As a conclusion, would you recommend the book to others? I would probably say yes. I would like to recommend Peter Pan to others because it elevates time and culture to portray the journey and growth that every child goes through as they grow toward maturity. Peter Pan is frequently marketed to young children, but I want to recommend it to teenagers who are struggling to grow up in a world that refuses to let them. Last but not least, what have you learned from the story? Peter Pan taught me that we should not be afraid to explore and accept adventure. Everyone must mature at some point. Also, we must allow our imagination to freely run wild. Positive thought, responsibility, mutual help, yearning, gratitude, friendship, bravery, and kinship were among these moral values of Peter Pan. As a result, we must put all of these moral values into reality in our daily lives.